And we're live.
Have any of you guys ever been fired from a job?
No.
And is there a story in regard to that?
I have. I don't. So I was I guess my title was like manager of accounts payable and receivable for this railroad construction company. And it was early in my career, and I was bad at the job. I think I've told this before. Really, the bulk of the workload was making sure that it was okay to pay the bills. And then, so what would happen is the materials would be delivered on site. The guy who received it would job cost it because we assigned all the materials to different projects. That way you could tell if that project was profitable or not. So they were slow in getting that like packing slip or receiver, whatever you want to call it, back to me and job costed, which made it very difficult for me to pay the bills on time. You know, I wouldn't pay a bill unless there was proof of delivery. Otherwise, you could just send invoices to companies and get money for nothing. So I was young, and my response to them being slow in getting me the things I needed was to like cover for them. Like, oh, no, James isn't fucking up. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get this all worked out. And that just led to me getting fucked harder and harder. And I worked a lot, like 120 hours a week while at the same time going to school at night and commuting. I got straight Fs one semester in school trying to like compensate for not getting these receivers on time. And it's long-winded, but when I would have to pay a bill a week late, it became even more difficult as these paperwork like stacked up. And sometimes they tell me on the phone and then send the receivers later. And now I've got like shit to deal with that's not current. And in the end, after, 6 months or so, I got fired. It was the worst firing ever. The guy took like 6 hours to do it. He kept getting interrupted. And so he talked to me, and I had hope through the whole time that this was just like it's time to pick it up, Woody kind of speech, and not your time is done, Woody kind of speech. And
it took him 6 hours to get it done.
It might have been 4, but like a lot.
Regardless, like the way you fire someone is immediate, instant.
Oh,
you say the purpose of it right away.
Yeah.
And would you rather be fired by phone call so you don't even have to go in?
I can see
He's probably
that.
already at work. Usually they wait till the end of the day.
It was in the morning. And obviously because it took all day. But yeah, so I came in, we started talking, and then like, I'm really sorry, I got to take this call. And I would go back to work and just start working. We talk again for like 15, 20 minutes, and then he got interrupted, got a little fire to put out. And my firing just kept getting broken up. And
you know what it actually was? He wasn't getting interrupted. He was nervous to fire someone, and he had to keep making you go back so he could remuster and rehearse his stuff. Was he a younger manager, or had he been doing it for like decades?
No, I think you're off target. He was 45 or 50, and he was successful.
Well, so he's just an unprofessional.
It'd been going on for a long time, and he was worth millions and millions. So I don't think he had a problem firing someone. I think he was just sort of hands-on in his style. And anyway, yeah. So he fired me really poorly. He even offered to give me a letter of recommendation. He was just like, yeah, you're working super hard. We can see the effort that you're putting in. That's why it took so long to like come around to this decision. But you're not good at what he said was, when I write a check when I sign all the checks, I don't have confidence that I should actually be paying all these. Like he doesn't have confidence that my little department is being run well. And yeah, so that sucked. I really
6 months, you said?
Yeah, I think 6 months is a good estimate, something like that. And I felt terrible. If you've never been fired, like it really seems like someone's just valued you not worthy. It hit my sense of self-worth, not that I was young, right? I was like 21 maybe. And, but like being professionally successful was a part of my sense of self-worth. And when that didn't work out, I had to move back home. My father was fucking relentless about treating me like I was in high school. I had my own apartment. I lived hours away from home, and suddenly I'm like a kid again. He even called me kid. I think he came into the room and changed the TV channel. And I was like, Dad, I was watching that. He's like, listen, kid, you are back here under my roof with my rules. And I was just like, oh my God, like I couldn't be lower right now. Thanks, Dad. But
wow, Wow.
And then he beat me.
No, my father. I don't.
And he held
Honey,
me
get
down.
the stilettos.
I don't think my father ever hit me. If he
held me
did,
down while my mother
it wasn't bad.
came in with a stiletto. She had one in his hand. She
But,
had these stiletto nunchucks. They were connected.
It was so
The whole Bruce Lee
demoralizing. Yeah. And maybe it was good parenting. I don't know. Because I worked to find a job like it was a job. Finding a job was different back then. It involved like classified ads in the papers and sending out resumes. And I would send out tons of resumes. And I opened up everywhere.
You're of the personality. You would have done that anyway. Like he was needlessly, like even if he hadn't been berating you, you would have been getting shit done and trying to find another job because that's the kind of person you are.
That is true.
Like,
I wasn't,
Yeah, you weren't going to be like, oh, hot dog back home for life. You know, I tried the working thing. Fuck that. Like, no.
no, I wasn't going to do that.
And because some people are like that. Like, everybody has that friend or two who, after high school, went to college and then either finished college by the skin of their teeth, got a job, failed at it, and now live with their parents and are kind of like, which, you know, nothing wrong with that. If you failed at something, just get back on the horse and try again. But they'll just consign themselves to like, well, I guess it's not for me. You know, whatever. That's okay. And everybody knows that person. Don't be that person. That's a person who's going to be depressed as fuck in their 40s because they're going to look back on their 20s and realize they pissed life away.
Yeah. My next...
Have you been fired, Taylor?
No, I've never been fired. I wasn't sure if either of you had, and so that's why I asked that one.
Kyle, have you ever been fired?
No.